Hello, my dear children. I welcome you all to today's social class. This is your social ma'am, Sri Shankari here from VIII International Public School, CBSE. I hope you all waiting for today's social class. So, with no further delay, let's start the class. This week, we are going to see a lesson in civics. Lesson number 6, Understanding our Criminal Justice System. When we see someone violating the law, we immediately think of informing the police. You might have seen, either in real life or in the movies, police officers filing reports and arresting persons. Because of the role played by the police in arresting the persons, we may often get confused and think that it is the police who decided whether a person is guilty or not. This, however, is far from true. After a person is arrested, it is a court of law that decides whether the accused person is guilty or not. According to the Constitution, every individual charged of a crime has to be given a fair trial. So, in this chapter, we will see more about these issues. Do you know what is meant to get a fair trial? Have you heard of an FIR? Or do you know who a public prosecutor is? In this chapter, we use a fictional case of theft to try and highlight the process as well as the role of different individuals in the criminal justice system. Most cases go through a process that is similar to the one discussed in our fictional case. Therefore, understanding these processes as well as the role that different persons should play within the criminal justice system is crucial. So that is ever the occasion should arise, you are aware of the processes that should be followed. Let's see the story. This is the story which is narrated to be happened in 2006. At their apartment in Mumbai, Mrs. Shinde is getting dressed. She has been frantically searching for her gold chain for over an hour. Oh, I'm sure it was in this drawer. Where could it be? Mrs. Shinde is searching for her gold chain. In the next scene, Mr. Shinde said, "Hurry up, we are going to be late for the wedding." Mrs. Shinde said, "I can't find my gold chain. It's not in the drawer. I suspect that Shanti might have stolen it. She always spent a long time dusting my room. I must ask her," like Mrs. Shinde said. Shanti Hembram has been working in the house for past 3 years. Mrs. Shinde went to Shanti and asked, "Shanti, have you begun to steal now? And that too my gold chain? Bring your trunk. I want to search it. We have called the police, so if you have the chain, return it now," like Mrs. Shinde said. Shanti, the poor Shanti, didn't aware of what is happening here, and she said, "Madam, I haven't stolen it, madam." Likewise, Shanti said. Mr. Shinde searches Shanti's trunk and finds an envelope with rupees 10,000 in it. He screams at Shanti saying that this is the money she's got from selling the chain. But the poor Shanti said, Saab, my brother and I have been saving this money over the last 1 year. We want to buy a bull when we go to our village, madam. I'm innocent, please believe me, madam. Likewise, Shanti begging to Mr. and Mrs. Shinde. But both of them is not listening to Shanti. Let's see what happened in the next scene. In the next scene, Mr. Shinde has come to the police station. The police officer said, "Yes, how may I help you?" Mr. Shinde said, "I have come to file an FIR. There has been a theft in my house. My maid Shanti has stolen my wife's necklace. So I want to raise a complaint against the theft," like Mr. Shinde said. In the next scene, Sub-Inspector, that is S.A. Rao, records Mr. Shinde's FIR. In the next scene, Mr. Shinde and S.A. Rao returns to Mr. Shinde's home, and Sub-Inspector S.A. Rao said, "I will now write the statements that Mr. and Mrs. Shinde make about this theft. Let me seal the envelope that has the money and take it with me as evidence. I'm arresting Shanti and taking her to the police station." Likewise, S.A. Rao said, but Shanti screams and begging that, "Please don't let him take me. Please sir, please ma'am. I haven't not stolen the chain. This is my hard-earned money. Please believe me. I'm begging you." Likewise, Shanti is screaming. But Mr. and Mrs. Shinde still not believing Shanti. Sushil, Shanti's brother, arrives and pleads with S.A. Rao to release Shanti. S.A. Rao said, "She has been arrested for the theft of a gold chain. You can go to the court and get a bail order." "But where will I get the money to hire a lawyer, and who will stand as surety for her? You have taken all of our savings and sealed it. What can I do now, sir? Please release my sister, sir." Likewise, Shanti's brother pleads to S.A. Rao. S.A. Rao forcibly keeps Sushil in the police station for 2 days. Sushil is abused and beaten by S.A. Rao and other police constables. Then try and make him confess that he and his sister Shanti head a gang of domestic servants that have stolen jewelry from other homes. There have been other complaints of the theft of jewelry from Shinde's neighborhood. As Sushil keeps repeating that he is an innocent factory worker, the police let him go after 2 days. Even though Sushil is released after 2 days of beaten up in police station, this has happened in some cases, in sometimes in real life also. We have seen so many things in newspapers and television, news channels also. So it is a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. So we have to think and act according to this. Let's see the story. Although the court granted bail to Shanti, after a month, she was unable to get anyone to stand surety for her for rupees 20,000. She, therefore, continued to be in jail. She is very traumatized. She is worried about what will happen during the trial. What will happen to me? I haven't done anything wrong, and yet I am behind bars just because madam suspect me. And the money that we have been saving, will I ever get it back? These and all the things which is ruining Shanti's mind, and she is thinking these things all the day and worried a lot about this. The police files a charge sheet in the magistrate court. The court gives a copy of charge sheet including statements of witnesses to Shanti. Shanti tells the court that she has no lawyer to defend her against this false case of theft. The magistrate appoints Advocate Kamala Roy as Shanti's defense lawyer at the government's expense. At this time, you may have a question that why magistrate is hiring the lawyer in government's expense? Yes, your question is right. So, according to Article 22 of the Constitution, every person has a fundamental right to be defended by a lawyer. Article 39A of the Constitution places a duty upon the state to provide a lawyer to any citizen who is unable to engage one due to poverty or other disability. Because of Shanti's poor condition, the judge appoints a lawyer at the government expense and he is said to be a public prosecutor. In the next scene, Advocate Kamala Rai meets Shanti in the court. Here are my case papers. I have been falsely accused of stealing my employer's gold chain, madam. Please help me in this case, likewise Shanti is telling. And Shanti's brother said they also found rupees 10,000 in Shanti's truck and said that this was the money he got from stealing the chain. But that is the money that we have been saving up together to buy a bull and to stay in our village. Both Shanti and his brother tell all the truth in that side to the public prosecutor Kamala Rai. And Kamala Rai hears all their case in detail, and next she is proceeding. The court frames a charge of theft of Mrs. Shinde gold chain and possess of money rupees 10,000 got from selling stolen property against Shanti. I plead not to guilty and I claim trial, like Shanti said. The trial before the magistrate begins. 8/3/2007, the public prosecutor appears in the case on behalf of the state. He presents Mrs. and Mr. Shinde as a key witness. So tell me, Mrs. Shinde, how did the gold chain go missing? Likewise, the public prosecutor asked. Shanti said, I had kept my chain in the drawer. Shanti stole it. No other outsider except Shanti goes into my room. Mr. Shinde searched her trunk in front of me and we were shocked to find rupees 10,000 in an envelope. Shanti got this money from selling my gold chain. She is a thief. What do we need more to say he is the only one who stole my chain? Why won't you believe? Like Shanti said. Next, Advocate Kamala Rai cross-examines the prosecution witness, Mrs. Shinde. So, what you are basically saying is that you did not see Shanti steal the chain, nor did you recover the chain on Shanti. Also, in the 3 years that she has worked for you, nothing has been stolen from the house. You were also regularly paying her rupees 1,000 as salary each month. Is it right, Mrs. Shanti? Like Advocate Kamala Rai asking. In the next scene, Advocate Rai examines Sushil and his employer as defense witness. Through their testimonies, she is able to show that the rupees 10,000 found in Shanti's truck could well be the earnings of Sushil and Shanti. As the trial is nearing completion, Sushil learns that Inspector Sharma has busted a gang of young men who have been stealing jewelry from the Shinde's neighborhood. Some of Mrs. Shinde's son's friends are part of this gang. Mrs. Shinde's chain has been found on them. Sushil tells Advocate Roy about this. Advocate Roy now calls Inspector Sharma as a defense witness. In the court, Advocate Kamala Rai asked to S.A. Rao, Inspector Sharma, can you show and tell us what you have found? Inspector Sharma said, here is the chain that has been identified by Mrs. Shinde as hers. We busted a gang of boys who had stolen the chain. These boys have admitted that they stole the chain, like Inspector Sharma said. Now, judge says like, Shanti, you are hereby acquitted of charge of theft. The police will hand over to you the rupees 10,000 that they had sealed. In my written judgment, I have made it a point to highlight S.A. Rao's role in conducting such a shabby investigation that made you spend time in jail. Likewise, judge said. From the above incident, you can see that the four key players in the criminal justice system are the police, the public prosecutor, the defense lawyer, and the judge. You have seen the roles of each of them played in the above case. Now, let us try and understand their roles more generally. What is the role of the police in investigating a crime? One important function of the police is to investigate any complaint about the commission of a crime. An investigation includes recording statements of witnesses and collecting different kinds of evidence. On the basis of the investigation, the police are required to form an opinion. If the police think that the evidence points to the guilty of the accused person, then they file a charge sheet in the court. As stated at the beginning of this chapter, it is not the job of the police to decide whether a person is guilty or innocent. That is for the judge to decide. You read in Unit 2 about the rule of law, which means that everyone is subject to the law of the land. This includes the police. Therefore, police investigations always have to be conducted in accordance with law and with full respect for human rights. The Supreme Court has laid down guidelines that the police must follow at the time of arrest, detention, and integration. The police are not allowed to torture or beat or shoot anyone during investigation. They cannot inflict any form of punishment on a person even for a petty offences. Article 22 of the Constitution and criminal law guarantee to every arrested person the following fundamental rights. The right to be informed at the time of arrest of the offence for which the person is being arrested. The right to be presented before a magistrate within 24 hours of arrest. The right not to be ill-treated or tortured during arrest or in custody. Confessions made in police custody cannot be used as evidence against the accused. A boy under 15 years of age and a woman cannot be called to the police station only for questioning. So these are the law which is guaranteed by our Constitution in Article 22 as the fundamental rights of every arrested person. The Supreme Court of India has laid down specific requirements and procedures that the police and other agencies have to follow for the arrest, detention, and integration of any person. These are known as D.K. Basu guidelines, and some of these include as follows. The police official who carry out the arrest or interrogation should wear clear, accurate, and visible identification and name tags with the designations. A memo of arrest should be prepared at the time of arrest and should include the time and date of arrested. It should also be arrested by at least one witness who could include a family member of the person arrested. The arrest memo should be countersigned by the person arrested. The person arrested, detained, or being interrogated has a right to inform a relative, friend, or well-wisher. When a friend or relative lives outside the district, the time, place of arrest, and venue of custody must be notified by police within 8 to 12 hours after arrest. First Information Report FIR. It is with the registration of an FIR that the police can begin their investigation into a crime. The law states that it is compulsory for an officer in charge of a police station to register an FIR whenever a person gives information about a cognizable offense. This information can be given to the police either orally or in writing. The FIR usually mentions the date, time, and place of the offense, details the basic facts of the offense, including a description of the events. If known, the identity of the accused persons or witness is also mentioned. The FIR also states the name and address of the complaint. There is a prescribed form in which the police registers an FIR and it is signed by the complainant. The complainant also has a legal right to get a free copy of the FIR from the police. Now, you have cleared about the role of police in filing a case and what is meant by FIR. Next, we will move to what is the role of public prosecutor. A criminal offense is regarded as a public wrong. What is meant by this is that it is considered to have been committed not only against the affected victims but against society as a whole. Do you remember the case of dowry death of Sudha that we read about in the previous chapter? Yes, the case against the accused Lakshman and his family was presented by the state. That is why the case was called State Delhi Administration versus Lakshman Kumar and others. Similarly, the above case can be called State versus Shanti Hembram and not Mr. Shinde versus Shanti Hembram. In the court, it is the public prosecutor who represents the interest of the state. The role of the prosecutor begins once the police has conducted the investigation and filed the charge sheet in the court. He or she has no role to play in the investigation. The prosecutor must conduct the prosecution on behalf of the state. As an officer of the court, it is his or her duty to act impartially and present the full and martial facts, witnesses, and evidence before the court to enable the court to decide the case. What is the role of judge? The judge is like an umpire in a game and conducts the trial impartially and in an open court. The judge hears all the witnesses and any other evidence presented by the prosecution and the defense. The judge decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent on the basis of the evidence presented and in accordance with the law. If the accused is convicted, then the judge pronounces the sentence. He may send the person to jail or impose a fine or both, depending on what the law prescribes. Next, we will move on to the topic, what is fair trial? Let us for a moment imagine that what might have happened if the judge decided to try Shanti's case very differently. What if the court did not give a copy of charge sheet and statements of witness to Shanti? What if he held the trial in a secret location where neither Shanti nor Susil were present? What if he did not give Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, enough time to question the witnesses of the prosecution, such as Mr. Shinde, and instead had already decided that Shanti was guilty? So these are the questions we can raise. If in case it may happen, what will the end of the story? What it may happen? So there will be the justice is not given to the needy person, right? If this had happened, then it would be a case of an unfair trial. This is because for a trial to be fair, several different procedures have to be observed. According to Article 21 of the Constitution, that guarantees the right to life, states that a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by following a reasonable and justice legal procedures. A fair trial ensures that Article 21 of the Constitution is upheld. Let us now return to Shanti's case as described in the storyboard and identify the essential elements of a fair trial. Let's see. Firstly, Shanti was given a copy of the charge sheet and all other evidences that the prosecution presented against her. Shanti was charged with the offense of theft that was defined as a crime in the law. The trial was held in an open court in public view. Her brother Sushil could attend the court hearings. The trial was held in the presence of the accused. Shanti was defended by a lawyer. Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, was given an opportunity to cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses. Advocate Roy was given an opportunity to present witnesses in Shanti's defense. Although the police filed a case of theft against Shanti, the judge assumed her to be innocent. It was the responsibility of the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Shanti was guilty. In this case, the prosecution failed to do so. It is significant that the judge decided the matters only on the basis of the evidence before the court. The judge did not jump to the conclusion that Shanti was the thief just because she was poor maidservant. Instead, the judge remained impartial, and since the evidence showed that some young men and not Shanti was the thief, he set free. In Shanti's case, justice was finally done to her because she was given a fair trial. The Constitution and the law both state that all of the persons that we have discussed in this chapter should carry out their roles in a proper manner. What this means is that they all need to work to ensure that every citizen, irrespective of their class, caste, gender, religious, and ideological backgrounds, gets a fair trial when accused. The role of law, which says that everyone is equal before the law would not make much sense if every citizen were not granted a fair trial. Here are the roles and responsibilities of the four persons who are involved in the criminal justice system, that is, police, public prosecutor, defense lawyer, and the judge. So we have the two columns. In the column A, we have the four participants, that is, the four members which is who are involved in the criminal justice system. And in the next column B, we have some of the functions which is need to be matched to the roles of the four members in the criminal justice system. So are you ready for it? Yeah, good. So let's take first as a role of police. What are the roles of police which is given in the column B? Read all this and tell me down. Hear the witnesses. Do you think this is the role of the police? No. Hearing witnesses is the role of the judge. Record the statement of witness. The police is able to record the statement of the witness. Cross-examines the witness. Who will cross-examine the witness? Yes, that is defense lawyer. Next, take the photographs of the burnt house or the scene, criminal scene which is happened in the case. Yes, obviously it is the role of the police who take the photographs of the burnt house or the event which is involved in the crime scene. Next, record the evidences. Yes, it is the role of the police to record the evidence. Next, arrest the first offense. Of course, arresting the accused is also the role of the police. Writes the judgment. Who writes the judgment? Yes, it is the judge who writes the judgment. Next, argue the case for the victim. Who argues the case for the victim? Yes, it is the public prosecutor who argues the case for the victim. Next, decide for how many years the accused will be put in the jail. Yes, it is the role of the judge to decide whether the accused is put in the jail or he or she is need to pay some amount as a fine, or he may put both based on the constitution refers or based on the offense which they have made. So it is the role of the judge. Next, examine the witnesses in court. It is the role of the public prosecutor. The next one, pass the judgment. So sentence and writing the judgment is of course obviously the role of the judge. Next, get the assaulted woman medically examined. It is the role of the police when he or she went to the crime scene or in the place where the crime has happened. If the police may find if the person is medically needs some medical help, he or she needs to taken to the hospital and get the medical treatment as soon as possible before starting to the case as a matter of humanity. Next, conduct a fair trial. So it is the role of the judge to conduct a fair trial which is impartially, which is not partial to any of the offense accused or the defense person. And next, meet the accused person. So it is the role of the public prosecutor who needs to get the detailed and clear report of the concerned accused person before starting or proceeding to the case. So these are the roles and functions of the members who is involved in the criminal justice system, these are the functions of the in the column A. These are the functions of the four members of the criminal justice system. So I hope you all clear with the rules and functions of the persons in the criminal justice system, right? Good. Now this is the time to learn some of the new words, glossary, which you may feel hard in this chapter. Let's discuss about each in detail, each in one by one. Okay? The first one is accused. ACCUSED, accused. The term accused in the content of this chapter is refers to the person who is tried by a court for a crime. So he or she may sit as accused. Next, cognizable. COGNIZABLE, cognizable. In the content of this chapter, this refers to an offense for which the police may arrest a person without the permission of the court. Next, cross-examine. CROSSEXAMIE, cross-examine. In the content of this chapter, this refers to the questioning of a witness who has already been examined by the opposing side in order to determine the veracity of his or her testimony. The next term is detention. DETENTION, detention. In this content of this chapter, this refers to the act of being kept in illegal custody by the police is said to be detention. Next, impartial. The act of being fair or just and not favoring one side over another is said to be impartial. Obviously, this is the word we have seen in the role of judge. So, a judge should be impartial while writing the sentence. He may not favor to any one side, right? So, that is said to be impartial. Next, offense. Any act that the law defines as a crime is said to be offense. Next, to be charged of a crime. This refers to the trial judge informing the accused in writing of the offense for which he or she will face the trial. So this is said to be as to be charged of a crime. Next, we will see about the witness. In the context of this chapter, this refers to the person who is called upon in court to provide a first-hand account of what he or she has seen, heard, or knows. This is said to be as witness. So these are the new terms you may see first in this chapter. So I repeat the glossaries again so that it will be easy for you to study. Accused, ACCUSED, accused. Cognizable, COGNIZABLE, cognizable. Cross-examine, CROSSEXAMINE, cross-examine. Next, detention, DETENTION, detention. Next, impartial, IMPARTIAL, impartial. Next, offense, OFFENCE, offense. Next, to be charged of a crime. To be charged of a crime. The next and final one, witness. WITNESS. Accused, cognizable, cross-examine, detention, impartial, offense. to be charged of a crime, and the last one is witness. So, my dear children, up to this, the content of this lesson is got over. So, if you want to know more about this, you can browse by yourself in the internet and you can get more information about these things. So, these are the common things we have to know as a citizen who are living in the society. If in case in future, if we may found any of our friends or neighborhood or who may face such kind of issues, we can also help them, we can also guide them, and this is the basic knowledge we have to get about our society. So we have to be clear with these basic ideas and knowledge towards the society. I hope you all clear with the content what we have seen in today's class. So, hope we all clear with the content and you can take your book and read the lesson line by line so that you can able to remember all the points in your mind, which will help you in future also. Okay, so in the next class we will see about a new thing in the new lesson in civics. So until this is your social mom Sri Shankari signing off. Stay happy, stay tuned to Virgin Team. Bye guys, take care.